Very nice. It's always nice to have technical difficulties in the morning.
No.
Not nice.
No.
We saw that a new name is popping up as a potential trade rumor. Might be too old, though, man. We'll get into that, Joe.
No. And we also had the return of Papa Halliburton. He was in the team.
And he saw his son do a historic performance last night.
Yeah, I think he helped the Pacers win. Papa Halliburton was the magic juice.
You know what this is showing, man? It's showing that you need to have an extra level in the playoffs. And that's what concerns me about the Spurs. You know, they don't have the experience that these guys have. I mean, I know Halliburton is having his coming out party. He was an all-star back in the day. But he has fought battles and been in the playoffs before.
Yeah. Yeah, good morning, Mario Cavazos. You know, another thing I was going to say that we should talk about at some point here in the show. The nostalgia factor. What was it like back in the day going out on a Friday and making the trek to your Hollywood video or blockbuster video back in the day, man? Some of these kids won't know nothing about it.
You are Exit 7. We were saying Hollywood video.
Yeah, dude. That was over here. They had it down on the south side, too.
Yeah.
You know, but
that was the other one.
Was the move.
There were a couple of other ones.
Pop and Go.
Pop and Go. Yeah.
Blockbuster. We had the Hollywood video. That was one of the big ones.
What was the one? Was Hollywood video attached to HEB or what was HEB?
Yeah, well, it used to be on the south side of town. It wasn't really attached. It was in the same parking lot.
Yeah. It was like the Denny's to the La Quinta. They were always right next to each other.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Mike Jimenez. Hope San Antonio and South Texas is having a wonderful day today. That is Joe Garcia producing today's show. Joe, are you staying dry? Because I'm reading all these reports that there are some parts of San Antonio the past 3 days that have had up to 6 inches of rain, specifically Helotes in the far northwest side, the UTSA area. Joe, are you keeping dry right now?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to keep dry. But, you know, the second night of storms, you know, and this one hit like super late. It was like 4 something in the morning. I woke up because it was the thunder was kind of loud, and you woke up and I try to look out the window, and it's like a strobe light, dude. The the lightning's just going off, man. And you know, it was another healthy downpour of rain. You know, thankfully this time there was not a lot of hail mixed in with it, but you know, it's a nice welcome change because the rain was was needed really bad here in San Antonio and the surrounding areas. So hopefully that water fell where it needed to in the recharge zone, because the Edwards Aquifer was kind of low, man. It's been low for a while.
Getting kind of dry. It is pouring rain right now in Conroe. So if I get kicked off, it's going to be because of that. So the rain goes from there, comes over here. Fact of the matter is that it's going to be summertime pretty soon, and we're all going to miss these days, right? We're going to say, man, I wish it was raining, right? Because the 105-degree temperature is right around the corner. I hate it. But that's part of living in Texas. Hey, we have a new way of being part of the show. We have 2,450 subscribers, and you can take part one of 2 ways. One, we have our chat going on. We see Fernandez, Mario Cavazos, Elias, Kaisel coming in from France, Garrett from the Netherlands. We've gone international again today. But a new way of being part of the show is by texting this phone number, 830-391-9164, to share your media with us. If you want us to talk about an article that you're reading, a photo that you're looking at, a video clip that you're looking at, send us the link at 830-391-9164. If we like it, we pop it onto the show. It's another way of being interactive with us here at the Area 210 podcast. But we have a lot to get into today, Joe. Halliburton just blew up yesterday, right? Historic night there in Indiana for the Indiana Pacers. Now 1 game away from the NBA Finals. We're going to have a flyover finals, baby. Oklahoma City and Indiana looking more and more like those two are going to battle it out. No big markets. I'm sure the NBA is pissed off about that, but it is what it is. We got to get into the Spurs. We have Kaisel from France, right? So I'm sure a Wemby fan. Wemby needs help, obviously, right? The Spurs did not make the playoffs in 6 seasons. New head coach in Mitch Johnson. The entire city is all in a buzz about whether the Spurs should throw the kitchen sink and empty the war chest for Giannis. But what if it's cheaper to get Kevin Durant? Okay. Would that satisfy both parties? Because you could conceivably get Kevin Durant and still keep Dylan Harper. So which would you rather have? Giannis and basically nothing else? Or would you rather have Kevin Durant and Dylan Harper? If you had to choose between having just Giannis alone and Harper, the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft, next month's draft, which would you rather be? Is it enough? Because, again, the trade proposals are going out there that people are talking about. Shamsharani of ESPN also bringing it up as well, saying the Spurs are on the market to make a move. Maybe it's not Giannis. Maybe it's Kevin Durant. Is this something that would satisfy both sides?
It's like that thing from Nickelback. Look at that photograph.
Oh, that's me when I was 17 years old, baby.
Look at that.
Yolanda.
This is courtesy of Elias. He's doing the media share with us right now. So again, like if you share something with us, we'll put it up on the screen.
And that's how you can pop in, baby. That's how you can pop in. So we'll talk about the Spurs as well. Joe wants to get nostalgic about Hollywood Video. I told you were Exit 7 by saying Hollywood Video. It is Blockbuster Video, baby. Pop and Go. That was for the cochinos back in the day because it had that beaded room in the back. We all know what that was.
Oh,
we all knew what was going on
back there, dude.
Being 15 years old going, why are people going back there? I don't get it. What's going on?
There's like a Spencer's in Ingram Park Mall. You know that.
Oh, my God. The Spencer's in the back with the posters?
Yeah, man.
Just so that you could see a Pam Anderson or a Jenny McCarthy poster? I was talking about Pam Anderson with my girlfriend the other day. I never found her attractive.
Oh, my.
I didn't get it. I never understood the fascination with Pam Anderson. I know she was with Tommy Lee, and they had that whole video back in the day. Pam Anderson did nothing for me. She was no Yasmin Bleeth. She was no Carmen Electra. She was no Jenny McCarthy. I'm sorry, dude. Pam Anderson was cochina to me back in the day.
Ah, come on.
Joe, let's talk Spurs. I know the NBA Finals are going on, but you were talking about this pre-show about Shamsharani from ESPN. What does he have going on these days?
Yeah, so there was a video that came out here that El Jefe himself shared, Jeff Garcia. So we're going to go ahead and put that on screen. And it's just Shams kind of talking on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, kind of saying that the Spurs are expected to be aggressive or pursuing both either Giannis or Durant or an elite wing to kind of pair up with one Victor Wembanyama, who's expected to, be fully healthy by the time the season starts, as he went, arguably he underwent surgery for the deep vein thrombosis that he had, kind of still was recovering. I think right now he's probably made a full recovery at this point and just enjoying some downtime. So he's going to be fully healthy next season. And the question for the Spurs is, who are they going to pair him with? The Spurs desperately need some help. But do you bet the farm and go ahead and kind of trim the fat and get rid of some of the fan favorites here and go for Giannis? Or do you go a cheaper route maybe and go for Kevin Durant, and see what he can do, bring at his age to the Spurs roster?
What do the Spurs need, Joe, more than anything? We talk about this all the time. The Spurs need shooters, right? And is Giannis that guy that's going to be a shooter? Because he really isn't. No. I don't think people realize how bad of a shooter Giannis is. Giannis is a bull in a china shop, right? He goes out there, he gets buckets, he drives to the basket, gets a lot of rebounds. He has a good feel for the game. But when it comes to shooting, Joe, he's not a three-point shooter at all. Do you know what his career shooting percentage is, Joe, from three?
Yeah.
28.4%. That is not bad. That is dog crap. Giannis can't shoot a three. So if we're trying to talk about who Wemby would play well with, would it be with a Giannis? Is Giannis going to improve Wemby? Giannis makes the team better, yes, right? But at the end of the day, the problem still remains you don't have shooting because Castle's not a good three-point shooter. Sohan can't shoot a three. Wemby is a bad 3-point shooter. We're going to add another one. They would still they would actually win games by defense and by bullying people around, right? I mean, don't be wrong. I would love to have Giannis on this team. But the idea that is going to be the fix is kind of bizarre. Joe, 28% for his career from three. In fact, last season, Joe, his 3-point shooting was so bad that it was 22%. 22%. Castle is considered to be a bad 3-point shooter, and Castle's at 28.
Yeah.
Explain this to me.
And they were saying they're giving you crap because they said that you said Pamela Anderson was not hot, but Angel Reese was, and she looks like Sid the Sloth.
And first of all, that's also an AI type of thing going on, but let's just pretend what that is. But let's keep. I understand we want to have them as part of the show, but let's keep the flow of the conversation.
You want to play the video?
The flow of the conversation. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some conversation pieces with Sham Sharania on the Pat McAfee show.
And Wemby, he's been doing some on-court stuff. We've been seeing it on social media, so that should be a positive sign. And the Spurs, everything I hear, they fully expect him to be ready to go for the start of next season, for the start of training camp. That is amazing news for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
and the NBA.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
For Wemby to be ready.
Back-to-back rookies of the year.
Wemby doesn't want anything to do with the Pacers, but I understand what you're talking about. It's good for the NBA.
They also have a ton of assets. They have tradable contracts. They have the number 2 pick. They have the number 14 pick in this year's draft. They have a bunch of tradable picks as well moving forward. They have all their picks. So
El Jefe.
Whether there's a player like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think a Kevin Durant's another guy that the Spurs, there was mutual interest in at the deadline. I think they're going to be looking very actively to see, is there a wing player we can bring in that could take us over the top?
A wing player to take you over the top. Is that what? Okay, because look at the Spurs roster right now as it's constituted, provided the Spurs keep the number 2 overall pick. You have De'Aaron Fox at the 1. You have Castle or Harper at the 2, 3, probably both, or maybe add Vassell. Those 3 players playing the 2 and 3. You have Harrison Barnes. You have Wemby. You have Sohan in the mix somewhere. You have Keldon Johnson in the mix somewhere. What you need is shooters. Giannis does not provide shooting. He provides rebounding. He provides defense. He's obviously a top 5 player in the NBA, but he does not provide shooting. And what it's going to take to get Giannis is to empty the war chest, get rid of the 2, the 14, get rid of the Atlanta picks, get rid of all that. It's probably going to take 4 or 5 first-round draft picks, plus 3 or 4 players. Getting Kevin Durant, who might be very old, but still a 43% shooter from 3, might be the better deal because you get him for 1 or 2 years, you provide the shooting, you get the spacing that the Spurs need, and you get to keep Dylan Harper.
I got something better than that. You know, the thing is like we know everybody's saying, well, you all listen to ESPN too much. You should form your own opinions. No, I mean, we're just putting what's out there right now and everybody else is sharing. So the problem is that Spurs fans push back a lot because you have Kevin Durant, who's of a certain age already, and they're like, well, he's not good anymore. He's better than Devin Vassell, man. Let's be honest. Giannis gives you an inside presence in the paint. You know, something that you're not getting with Wemby. He can go ahead and get the rebounds and be that dominant force inside the paint to help go ahead and, you know, be that rim protector along with Wemby there, the 2 towers. Okay. I can see that, but at what cost? Now, the other thing that's not really talked about or frowned upon is maybe the Spurs going after somebody else in free agency that might be kind of flying under the radar. Everybody's saying, well, you need a big man. You need a big man. Well, there is going to be a big man that's going to be on the market coming from way of Chicago Bulls here. And that is none other than, you know, Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah, Nikola Vucevic. I like Vucevic, man. Vucevic is a Spursy kind of player. Averaged 18 points per game last year for the Chicago Bulls. He's in his mid-30s. I believe he's 34 years old.
Yeah.
This is a veteran move right here if the Spurs were to go after him, and this would require a trade because he's still under contract by the Chicago Bulls. But the Spurs do need somebody to play down low who's going to play a little bit of bully ball down low, get some rebounds, play some defense. Vucevic is a quality player. This would be like getting Harrison Barnes, right?
Yeah.
A center version of Harrison Barnes. He is the Toyota Corolla of centers, is what Vucevic is. He's not a star, but he will get you 30 every once in a while. He popped off for 43 a couple of years ago. It is possible to get a big game out of Vucevic, but Vucevic was kind of in that situation when Zach Collins went over there. Minutes went down a little bit.
Yeah.
Vucevic is a solid veteran player, and if it takes a little something to get him, great. This might be a salary dump of all things for the Bulls, and the Spurs have salary cap space to absorb. That's not a bad pickup there. BX says Vucevic is terrible on defense. Brings it on the offensive side.
What's the same argument they had with Zach Collins? Terrible on defense, but he wasn't giving you much on the offensive end either. Now he's with the Bulls and he's looking like a world beater over there from time to time, and Spurs fans are like, oh, we should have kept him. No, you shouldn't have kept him. They did the right thing and cut him loose. He was just taking up cap space, and he just needed to move on. He wasn't a good fit for the San Antonio Spurs. But if you wanted to go ahead and compare the numbers by the numbers, let's go ahead and look and see what his stats were for the 2024-2025 season.
I know everyone's like, oh, he's not a rebounder. He averaged 10.1 per game. How many do you need him to get? Need him to get 15? He ain't Rodman.
18.5 points a game, Mike? That's not too bad.
And for a career, 17.2 points per game. For a career, 10.5 rebounds. Who says the guy doesn't rebound? He does crash the boards. He may not play down low in a very, very physical way. He might be on the outside in. He is 6'10". He gets rebounds. An effective field goal shooting percentage of 59.2% last year. He would have been the third best Spur last year. He's not and the whole go get Jonathan Kuminga. What is the fascination with Jonathan Kuminga? Let's call up Jonathan Kuminga's stats. Maybe I'm wrong. But there has been a fascination with Jonathan Kuminga with Spurs fans for the longest time.
I don't understand it. I mean, I get it, but I mean, like, at what cost do you want him? You know, it's like if you could get this brother on a budget, you know, and still have a lot of cap space left. I mean,
yeah, John Dyer, who's on our stream right now, says it might cost too much. This might be a salary dump, though.
Could be.
So, and I know that you have to match salaries from time to time, but if you have the cap space to absorb it, not necessarily the case that you need to do all that, right? This might be something where you trade a Keldon and a pick, maybe not even a good pick. I'm gonna look up his contract, right? Vucevic's contract, and it'd be even better if he's on an expiring deal, by the way, because then you can recoup that cap space, a little bit better. But dude, the guy makes $20 million a year. He makes $20 million a year. Do you know what that costs? Keldon Johnson. That's what Keldon makes. Keldon makes about 17.
Bye.
You could trade him for Keldon, right? And by the way, he's on an expiring deal this year, $21 million. Expiring deal.
Get him as a 1-year rental.
1-year rental. 1 year. See what you can do. Put him in there. Jonathan Kuminga. There is a fascination with him because he's all potential, right? And I'm looking up Kuminga's stats, right? Jonathan Kuminga, who plays for the Golden State Warriors, he had a very strong end of the season last year. The last 3 games of the season, he got 30, 23, and 26, right? But this is a guy who's in his 4th year in the league, averaged 15 points per game, 16 points per game the year before that, 9 the year before that. Is he a bad player? Is he a scrub? No. Kuminga is 6'8". He's not a scrub. Last year, 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds. He's not a scrub. But does he provide exactly what you need from all facets of the game? No, he doesn't. He's a career 33% shooter. Let's get some shooters on this team, man. Let's get some.
Well, according to a Spurs fan, he fits the bill, you know? They're fascinated by the kid.
Do you know what it is? He got hyped up so early. He got drafted so early in the draft that people got excited about him. He's still 22 years old. People got excited, but he is who he is, Joe. He's not going to get any better. There's no more leaps from Jonathan Kuminga.
Who is he better than on the Spurs roster right now? Who is he better than on the Spurs roster right now? Real talk.
Real talk.
Is he a better version of Sohan?
If he is, it's not that much better. Sohan's a better defender.
True enough. Sohan's a better defender, but
He's a better offense. He's a better offensive player than Sohan, but Sohan's a better defensive player.
He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you some buckets, you know. And they're saying that the upside is better than, than what's on the roster currently. Could be.
I think he is who he is, dude. I think we're looking at a Devin Vassell situation. He's going to be a guy that averages 15-7, 15-5 for his career. There's no star quality to it all.
He's not lighting it up beyond the arc, though, from the 3-point line.
And it might cost too much, man. He's a former lottery pick, 7th pick in the draft back in 2021. That's why he gets hyped up, is because he was picked so early in the draft. Yeah. Everyone thought he was going to be a potential star, and he never was.
What's his
He's never going to be. EFG, 49.5%. Basura. 49.5%. 49.5%. Yeah, let's go get Kuminga. We need shooters, but let's get somebody who has a bottom 10 percentile in effective field goal shooting.
Oh, gosh. They're saying he's better than Keldon Johnson.
He's not.
Keldon and Sohan.
He's not. Keldon Johnson is a decent player. Keldon Johnson, hey, for all the hate, if you want to give hate to Vassell, that's great, right? There's one player that should not get any slander this offseason, and that's Keldon Johnson. Because guess what? That fool showed up last year. Keldon Johnson was the only player off the bench who brought it pretty consistently last year. So for as much grief as we give Keldon had a good season last year. Tony Nellis in cap saying, I want Naz Reid. Again, Naz Reid wouldn't be a starter, though. Naz Reid is not a starter. He's somebody who's going to be off the bench and might get you 25 to 30 minutes per game. Maybe not 30, player. 25 to 27. Player. He's a very, very, very good player. We need starters on this team. And if we're going to be throwing money at people, don't you want to get a starter? Jonathan Kuminga is basically, it's that Spider-Man thing, with the Spider-Man meme, the pointing meme with Sohan. At least Sohan plays defense, man.
Hey, they both like to dye their hair, Mike. They got that in common.
Poor man's Jeremy Sohan, or Sohan's a poor man's Jonathan Kuminga. It's the same thing. So let's go back to Kevin Durant. Let's look up Kevin Durant's stats here.
All right.
Kevin Durant, they're going to blow up what's going on in Phoenix because that whole Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant super team did not come together well. And you know what? And I knew it because Bradley Beal sucks, dude. Bradley Beal is one of the most overrated, most overhyped players the last 10, 15 years. But Kevin Durant last year, 26.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, effective field goal shooting of nearly 60%, shot 43% from 3, played ball at UT, not that matters. Go get him as a 1 or a 2-year rental. I wouldn't be mad at it because you know what? We'd keep Dylan Harper. So let's say that this costs here Barnes and it costs Keldon or Barnes and Vassell, right? Yeah. The Spurs would have a roster of De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Kevin Durant, Jeremy Sohan, Wemby, Champagny. I mean, that's not a bad team, Joe. He solves so many different issues. He stretches the floor 43% from 3. His career 39% from 3. And guess what? The same way the CP3 mentored Stephon Castle, you might say that Wemby could learn from Kevin Durant because they tend to play a similar type of style. The more I think about it, Joe, Kevin Durant might be better for the Spurs than Giannis because Giannis would become the alpha of this team and not Wemby. But I believe that if Durant comes over, it is not Durant's team. It's not Fox's team. It's still Wemby's team. Kevin Durant was able to go into a situation in Golden State back in the day that had Draymond and Steph and Clay and win 2 chips out there, was the finals MVP twice.
Yeah.
He actually is somebody who knows his roles. Kind of a prick, but he kind of knows his role.
Oh, he can be a dick if he wants to. He puts up the numbers. It's like he's a better version of what Devin Vassell is for the San Antonio Spurs, and he would space the floor a lot better, open the game up for the team. because you got to go ahead and respect him, because not only is he very good at just making that perimeter jump shot, he can also shoot the three. So you got to respect him, and you got to come out beyond the arc to go ahead and guard him, which means that somebody will be free inside the paint to get an easy layup, an easy, I don't know, finger roll or something, and maybe it'd be an and one opportunity, something that the Spurs don't really have at this juncture, because they're so crowded up inside the paint. It's hard for them to even move. The floor spacing is horrible, man. Every time you see that every game, it's just awful. There's no fluidity to the offense. Kevin Durant would bring all those things to this Spurs team, and the offense would have a different flow about it. It would look a lot better.
You're right. A better offensive flow, as you said, Joe. It's also something that he brings playoff experience. He's somebody who brings finals experience. He's been around the block, played for Seattle originally, then it became Oklahoma City. Went
He's
to
a
Golden
champ.
State, played at Brooklyn, played at Phoenix. The only issue that you have with him is that he tends to get hurt from time to time. Played 62 games last season, 75 the year before. But the prior season only had 47 games, 55 the year before that, and 33 the year before that, and then sat out an entire season with an injury. I guess you can say that he's had a bounce back the last 2 years, but maybe you bring him in as a Chris Paul type of mentor to come out here and mentor Wemby.
Yeah,
maybe that's the thing. We all fear that Chris Paul was not going to be able to make it last year, right? Because 39 years old. He's going to get hurt, right? It's obvious he's going to get hurt. He played all 82 games.
And look at Tavares is saying, why is no one talking about Mitch Johnson? Does he have full autonomy to hire his own staff at this point? And I think the answer to that would be yes, but maybe the current roster that he has with him right now is maybe what he wants to go ahead and roll with. They've been very close. But it is up to him to go ahead and decide how he wants to go ahead and move forward, since for all intents and purposes, this is Mitch Johnson's team to coach now. He can make those changes.
It is his team, man. And I hope they give him a long enough of a leash. I hope that the whole El Jefe Pop in the front office is not him still being a dictator, because Pop really needs to focus on his health more than anything else. But you look at the salaries of Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
$50 million, Joe. It'd be a 1 year rental at $54.7 million.
Yeah. We got another.
So you would have to send out Durant. Devin Vassell.
Spurs fans would not be mad if this was the outcome.
No, not at all.
Him holding up a trophy for the San Antonio Spurs. Would they be mad? Of course not. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
No, if that would be the outcome, getting rid of Vassell or getting rid of a Keldon Johnson and some picks, and you bring in Kevin Durant and you win a chip, all will be forgiven. Oh, this is funny too. Look at this. This one, I had this one had me laughing because they were saying Mike's complaining about the media share. He's telling them
not that I complain about. I'm not complaining about the media share. I'm just saying, let's finish a conversation and then go to the media share. The switching gears is difficult sometimes.
They're making fun of you because they're like, do you want us to go ahead and media share? And then Mike gets mad and pulls a Karen when we do it.
It's not doing it. It's when you do it. It's not when you do it. It's when you do it. Okay. It's one of those things where there has to be a flow to the show. When the flow of the show gets interrupted by the, it's like we have to turn to it. How about we do that? How about we go blah blah blah? Now, what are you guys setting this?
Yeah,
that's basically it.
We can also use the number, by the way, to have call-ins. We're not doing that at this point. I told Hefe if he wanted to join the show, he could call us, at that number there. So we'll see if he joins or not. I don't know if he'll have time.
Yeah, Joe, I'm excited about the Dylan Harper era with the Spurs. I really am. I have bought into this from the get-go. I watched way too many Rutgers basketball games to not be excited about this, because you knew that Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper were going to be in the top 5 of the draft. And seeing everybody and their mama, all 30 teams in the NBA say, yep, 32 teams in the NBA say, yep, that's the number 2 guy. in the draft that every single mock draft, whether it be Yahoo or Bleacher Report or ESPN, all of them saying that's a consensus number 2. There's nobody who has Dylan Harper at number 1. No one who has him at 3 or below. That's something to be excited about. And oh my God, I swear a tornado is going to come by. Right now in Conroe, Joe, I can't even see my fence. I can't see my fence. It's raining so hard sideways right now that if I get kicked off, that's the reason why.
You got vertical rain? Horizontal rain?
Horizontal rain. Joe, it's a twister. It's a twister.
You don't see the cow flying about?
Joe, it is bad, Joe. Wow. Kind of crazy.
Let's do it. Let me go ahead and pull the weather radar from Houston, Conroe. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh, you going to the weather map?
Yeah, I'll go to the weather map. It's like, what's going over there in Conroe right now? And weather and radar map, it says for Conroe. Let's look at the live radar right now.
The live radar. Let's see. I'm actually kind of near the Woodlands, between the Woodlands and Conroe right now.
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking down here right now.
So Brandon asking the question on our YouTube stream, asking the question, what's the consensus here? Spurs pick at number 2 and use the cap to sign KD? Make it happen. It's not so much using the cap as it is. It's starting to die down. As you're bringing this up, it's starting to die down a little bit.
Here we are. You're somewhere in the Woodlands area right here.
Probably a little bit. Probably where that red spot was right there.
Yeah.
That's where I am right there.
Yeah, it looks like you're almost out of it, brother. You'd be all right.
Yeah, it started to die down a little bit, but it was a little wicked for a while there. Hey, no, I guess that is the consensus, Joe. I mean, would that be the consensus of our team here? Don't get me wrong. Giannis signs, I'll get excited. Spurs trade for Giannis, I'll get excited for it all. But at the end of the day, I'll be thinking to myself, who the hell's shooting the ball? Because are you going to have a team out there with a 28% shooter from 3 in Castle, with a 30% shooter in Wemby, with a 28% shooter in Giannis? I mean, we'd have to make every single mid-range jumper and get a bunch of rebounds to win games. There's not one three-point shooter to be found in that roster. And if the Spurs have to empty out the war chest to make it happen for Giannis, I don't see the point. I really don't see the point. We see right now, Joe, who's going to make the NBA Finals? Who's the MVP? SGA, right?
Yeah, shy.
SGA was traded from the LA Clippers for a 2-year rental in Paul George. Do you think if they could turn back the clock, would the Clippers pull that trigger again? No. And the idea of, well, they didn't know what they had in SGA. Dude, there's a highlight reel of SGA as a rookie where you all knew he was special. No different than we have a highlight reel of Stephon Castle showing that he was a very good player and worthy of Rookie of the Year. If Harper turns out to be a perennial all-star and we trade him for a 2-year rental for Giannis and it doesn't work, I'd be upset about that. No different than Clipper fans looking at the games right now watching SGA just go off. I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what I was kind of hinting at with, Vucevic, there is, you can get other players. I know they were saying, oh, all the, the big names are taken in free agency. You don't necessarily need to go after big name talent. You can go after role players. For example, if you get a Vucevic kind of guy, somebody that can just play center, play that center position. Either you're going to back up Wemby or be on the floor with Wemby at the same time, whatever you all got to do. But if he can be had for a decent enough price tag and fill that position and fill it well, that's a win-win for the team. Now, if you get enough of these types of role players that can fill that position and fill it well, that means that the team will be more balanced. Not only your starting 5, but also the bench. It gives that balance to the team where they can go ahead and come back from a double-digit deficit or sustain a lead. They don't have to work as hard,
Well, Ruler 2 brings up a point on our stream, Joe. Says, no, the Clippers traded Shy for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in their primes. True. But once they had them on their roster, what else did they have? Nothing. Wemby right now is on a rookie deal. It's a 4-year deal. He's got 2 more years left on this rookie deal. We'd be getting Dylan Harper for 4 years on a rookie deal while having Castle 3 more years on a rookie deal while having Wemby at 2. Go out and get Kevin Durant. Go out and get a Naz Reid. Go out and get a shooter to come join this team because we have these rookie deals that are there. What I'm afraid of, Joe, is us emptying the war chest, not having any of those picks that we were all stashing, right? And having Giannis, having Wemby, and looking around and going.
That scene from, was it The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where you come into an empty room?
Yeah. Coming from an empty room, just looking back and forth. And the idea, well, there are going to be players that are going to want to play with Wemby and Giannis and together. No, they're not. They're not. You know why? NBA players play for one reason, Joe.
Win.
Money.
And they want to win.
Well, which is more important, winning or money, Joe?
Money is important, but the further you go into the playoffs, the more money you make.
No, they don't.
They get bonuses, Mike.
Joe, they don't. It's not the NFL, Joe.
They get a bonus.
Their salary is their salary, Joe.
No, they get a bonus. The further they go into the playoffs, they get a bonus.
And any bonus that is received for making playoffs or going further in is minuscule compared to what their actual salary is. They're not going to be playing on player minimums. You're not going to get a star or a sharpshooter to come over here and play for $3 million, play for $4 million. They're going to want to get to pay their 15, 20, 25, 30 what they're worth. They're not going to come over here and play with Giannis.
You're making it sound like they're mercenaries, Mike. They're not mercenaries all the time. Some are, but a lot of times you're going to look at players and they're going to want to play for a team that's going to win. They're going to want to play for a winning team that has the potential to go to the big dance, to go to the finals, or go deep into the playoffs. Right now, who wants to play for the Spurs? There's a lot of uncertainty. They're untested right now, and they don't really have a lot of, let's say, pieces beyond just Wemby and your starting 5 that you can count on.
Okay, NBA players make $500,000 for winning the NBA Finals.
According to a little bit of scratch,
according to AI, but that's
not
a
vacation.
But that's not a salary. They make their money off of salary, Joe.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're
not. Well, okay, you're gonna get a sharpshooter, right? So let's look at like players like the Celtics, right? Who had Drew Holiday, who had Derek White, who had Al Horford, right? You look at players in Denver like Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon. They're not those types of caliber of players. The Aaron Nesmiths of the world and Pascal Siakams of the world. The solid number 3 and 4 and 5 guy on your team are not going to come to the Spurs and play with Wemby and Giannis for nothing.
Yeah.
They're not going to come over here for glory. They're going to come here because they want to make money. And Brandon saying Wemby's enough. He's not.
It's not.
He may not be that generational guy that we're all talking about, Joe. I mean, that's my biggest fear. You know why, Joe? Got no dog in him. Not yet. I hope he does. I hope he does develop it, but we haven't seen it yet in the first 2 years.
All this Spurs fan has seen out of Wemby so thus far is Wimpy Ganas. Not enough heart, not enough dog out there. Kind of folds like a $5 chair. You're going to let little old Harper over there, or not Harper, Dylan Brooks, lock you up. Come on, man.
He's got now defensively. Yes, defensively, he's a generational talent. Defensively, most definitely, he's going to win several Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Generational is kind of like looking and seeing like a LeBron James type of caliber player, Michael Jordan type of player. Somebody who is, you can say, hey, this is a special type of guy. He's going to go ahead and will his team to the NBA Finals. That's what you saw out of LeBron James. He's hated because he was ring chasing, but every team that he went on, they were able to get to the NBA Finals.
The criticism of Wemby is simultaneously fair and unfair at the same time. Okay, so here's the argument that I hear from Spurs fans when it comes to Wemby. Well, Michael, David Robinson was a grown-ass man when he started playing for the Spurs, right? Because he got drafted in 87, didn't play until 89, 2-year naval commitment. He went to college. Tim Duncan played for 4 years. He was 22 when he played for the Spurs. His rookie season. Wemby is just 21.
Yeah, he's still young.
Okay. You're talking about that from the basketball court perspective. Wemby's further along at 21 than Duncan was at 22, than Robinson was at his age as well. I get that. The problem you have, Joe, is that when you draft Wemby at 19, you start paying him his rookie deal at that point. Would the Spurs have won championships with Tim Duncan if Tim Duncan was on a max deal his rookie season? Because when Wemby becomes the age that Duncan was when Duncan first tied up his shoes and played for the Spurs, he'll be making the super max. So we can go off and say, well, yeah, he just doesn't have the experience. He's wet behind the ears. You know, that's great. But if you're going to burn the rookie deal and come out 3 years early, I'm sorry, man. I can't hold you to the whole thing about, well, it's your age. You're just 19. You're just 20. You're just 21. You're already burning the deal, and you're already in line to get a Supermax contract at 22, 23 years old. That I don't get.
Tony Ornelas, you guys hate on Wemby much? Hate on him. He is only 23 years old. So you're going to say the same thing when he's 28 and he's still stinking it up out there on the court, but he's a generational talent? Come on, man. Let's get with it. Everybody wants to win now, and if you want to win now, you need the best out of your players in their prime when they're young. Come out, show us something, man.
Fernandez, I bet 2 years into LeBron and Jordan's career, folks said the same thing. Come on, Wemby is a generational talent. I hope so. But Fernandez, you have to understand, Joe, the point I was trying to make, though, is that when Jordan came into the league, it was 4 years, or 3 years rather, at North Carolina. They weren't making big dollars early on, even if you were the number 3 pick in the draft, as Jordan was in '84. It's different. Wemby's going to be, Joe, earning $75 million a year when he's 23. That's facts. That's what's going to happen. He's going to make $75 million a year at the age of 23.
This is true.
So we know that he's going to be paid that much at that point, Joe. It's fair to say he needs to be the generational talent faster than the other guys, faster than LeBron, faster than Tim Duncan.
He has to be more impactful. And the thing is, when you look to see what the San Antonio Spurs have gotten out of Wemby thus far, I don't think they fully know how to use him yet in the context of this offense.
Whose fault is that?
That's up to the coaches, man. You know, and basically they have to go ahead and scheme what is the best utilization of Wemby out there on the court. He's kind of an enigma because of his size. He has speed. He has athleticism. He's got handles. You know, he's a great passer, but he's not utilized correctly. And I think that is what irritates Spur fan the most, is they want to see their player go out there and be a generational talent. I don't know if it has to do with age, but he's been playing since he was a young man in the Euro League. So that you got to go ahead and throw out the door there. There's no merit behind that. He's in the NBA. I get that. You know, he's still young. We understand. But isn't it up to the Spurs to go ahead and scheme a plan that would best utilize his assets out there on the court?
The problem is, Joe, is that half the Spurs suck.
There's no lies detected in that statement.
So it's
a bunch of dudes.
There's no winning combination. They're just dudes.
Yep.
Now there's some dudes on there that will be when we have a one-handed shooter at the free throw line in Sohan, when we have Champagny, who we call cardio, when we have Vassell, who likes to play hero ball, likes to pretend that he's a superstar, but he's not. When we have Keldon Johnson, who tries very hard but is undersized for what he's trying to do. There was nothing here. Chet Holmgren got drafted into a great situation. A team that was already being built together. Wemby got drafted into the worst possible situation he ever could have been in. Joe, if he got drafted by the Houston Rockets, they'd still be playing right now. Wemby would be in the Western Conference Finals right now if he got drafted by the Rockets. The worst thing that could have happened to Wemby, Joe, was he got drafted by the Spurs early in his career. Now, it might be the best thing for him long term. Maybe over the course of his career, it might be best that he came to the Spurs. But the worst thing that happened to Wemby back in 2023 was getting drafted by the Spurs, because we had nothing here. We had no point guard. We had no shooting guard. We had no quality players down low. We had bad contracts. This was a bad team altogether, and we had a coach that was in his 70s.
I said, you got a nice engine, but you got no car. You got no body to put it in. It's just there sitting there on the pallet.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting. I see the logo behind you, that Diamond Hair Concrete. When we come back, we're going to talk about Kendrick Perkins and the comment he made about Anthony Edwards on how he cannot be the face of the NBA. Let's talk about it on the other side.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That Diamond Hard Concrete, they do a fantastic job, both as residential and commercial, also government contracts as well. Give them a call, 210-774-9155 for your concrete placement needs. You know, if you need a sidewalk, if you need a slab, if you need I hired them to do a sidewalk in my house. They did a fantastic job. That wasn't even the point. They came over and said, you know what, you should get a sidewalk over here. And I agreed. They did a fantastic job. Give them a call, 210-774-9155. Our good friend Tavarius, he needs to take this back. He needs to take back this comment. Tavarius saying, on shit, Michael Kwan. So if those of you who are part of Spurs Twitter, wow. That's an insult right there, calling me Kwan. Who's that guy? Kwan, whatever.
Alfonso Del Kwan.
Alfonso Del Kwan. There you go. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass, dude. But I'm looking at the 2023 NBA draft, right? The Spurs got Wemby. Bad situation for Wemby. If Wemby wanted to win, bad place to be. The number 2 pick in the draft was Brandon Miller, drafted by the Hornets. Yeah. So maybe that was just as bad of a place to be. The Blazers picked number 3. But imagine if he had gone to the 4 or 5 team, because the Spurs had a 14% chance of winning that draft. But guess who else had a 14% chance? Oh. The Rockets and the Pistons. The Rockets who had Şengün already.
Yeah.
The Pistons who had Cade Cunningham and a bunch of other pieces as well. Wemby would be in the playoffs if he got drafted by those 2 teams. But if he had gotten drafted by the Spurs, which he did, he is where he is now. We need to call in some. We need to get other better players around him.
Yeah, you know what they're telling. Rudy G says, "Haha, Quanwick." That's what he's known as on the X. I mean, he's not that bad, dude. I mean, he's just a Spurs fan like the rest of us, and he likes to, be a little bit of a troll from time to time. But I mean, he's really, at the end of the day, he's been around for quite some time. So I got nothing but respect for Quan. We've had our differences at times as well, but yeah, some of his opinions might be off the wall, Mike, kind of like yours in a way. So I can kind of see the similarities, but people start coming around to Quan and they start coming around to your takes as well. So there's a similarity.
My takes have reason associated with them. Don't be wrong. I'm a Spurs fan. I'm hopeful that Wemby turns things around. It's just not all going to be about him.
Yeah.
You needed to have the inside out. You need to have the shooters out there. You need to have the right coach. Pop wasn't going to be it, man. I was screaming that from the mountaintop from the beginning. You do not build a team around a 73, 74, 75, or 76-year-old head coach. You don't do it, because crap happens to people's health, and guess what happened? He had a stroke, right? You don't do that.
Yeah.
So, and I got crapped on for that comment, because in Pop we trust. He can step down whenever he wants to step down. Well, you know what? He got forced down. It's sad. It never should have ended that way. It's sad that his legacy ends that way, okay? There is something to be said about the fact that when Wemby got drafted by the Spurs, the Spurs had nothing to surround him with.
Yeah.
The rebuild started the day that he got drafted. Because what did Pop do his rookie year? Let's go see if we can have Sohan play point guard. Actually, that was 2022. Still, it was stupid. That was 2022. Wemby gets drafted in 2023. Brutal, dude. Brutal. But the Spurs didn't have any players there because Keldon's not going to be winning anything on his own. Devin Vassell's not a star. Sohan's not a star. Champagne's not a star. There's nobody there, Joe. We are a G League team without Wemby.
Bunch of dudes.
Just a bunch of dudes.
The YMCA pickup game at the Y.
Now, the big idea, though, is that Wemby's going to be the face of the league one day, right?
Yeah.
But according to Kendrick Perkins, and I was watching
There we go.
First Take when he said this, everyone rolled their eyes when he said that Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, cannot be the face of the league because he's not a family man. He was going on to say that back in the day, you had Larry, you had Magic, you had Jordan, you had Kobe, you had Shaq, you had LeBron, you had Steph Curry. They were all seen as family men at the time. Now, hindsight being 2020, you realize that Magic was screwing everybody he could find, right?
Yeah. Oh, we got Mike frozen here. Guess the weather finally got him. Well, anyway, he's going on to say about the comments by one Kendrick Perkins and saying that basically Ant-Man can't be the face of the league because he's not a family man. And they need somebody out there that can represent what the family man is in order to be the face of the league. Somebody that's married and got kids and all that. Because we understand what Ant-Man has done infamously behind the scenes there with just paying his baby mama all that money right up front and saying that he don't want nothing to do with his kid. So he's like, that's why he's saying he can't be the face of the league. And he's entitled to his own opinion, and that's probably why everybody was rolling their eyes at the brother, for his comments. But Kendrick Perkins has been known to say off-the-wall stuff before, so it doesn't surprise me that he got caught saying something dumb like that. Let's see if we can get Mike. Mike, Magic just froze him. Mike cheated on Cookie. Tornado got Mike. The tornado got Mike. Let's see what he's saying right now. I wonder if he had a power outage or something. Yeah, he said the electricity went out for a second. Exactly what I thought. That's why we couldn't get him back. Hopefully he'll come back here in a minute or so, but we're just going to go ahead and roll with it. Well, let me know. What do you think the comments are in regards to this, thing that Kendrick Perkins said, that Ant-Man should not be the face of the league because he's not a family man. It says, who cares? He took care of them. Man, he did. And it says, Rookie Roy says, Wemby looked like he was somewhat disappointed when the Spurs won the draft pick, or first draft pick when they got him. Oh, hold on. Call here. Yeah, hello. Hey, what's up? And got you on right now. You are live with us as we're trying out this new system. So let me go ahead and bring you on. Okay, give me. I'm going to go ahead and share your screen. That way they can go ahead and hear you. All right, got you there. And I'm kind of going to try to mask your number here a bit.
Please do that. Yeah.
And there we go.
If you can't, then
no, we did.
We did. Just send me the stream link. Okay, hang on. Don't put me on yet. I got to switch out to my headphones. Hang on.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Go ahead.
Hang on.
So we're going to be joined right now by Jeff Garcia. He's going to be joining us to go ahead and talk some San Antonio Spurs basketball with us.
Okay, Joe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Mike went down because he had his power went out over there in Conroe. So he's trying to get back. We lost Mike. Everybody's like, Mike. Oh, he's coming back now. So let me see.
Are we live yet?
Get him back.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We're live right now.
Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? I didn't know. I thought you still had me in the backstage.
No. You're live. This is a different system now. All right, there we go.
Man, why are you fancy? Why are you fancy like that?
No, we've been pushing the boundaries of what we can do, man. So now we got Jeff joining us right now. You know, he's going to be on the line with us with Mike Jimenez, because Mike got kicked off due to the storm over there in Conroe.
Yeah, was it the same storm that came by last night?
Yeah, the same one. Can you hear Jeff, Mike, by the way?
I can, yeah. And Fernandez.
I can't hear Jimenez.
You can't hear Mike?
No, I can't.
Jeff can't hear you, but I can hear Jeff.
And I can hear Jeff as well.
Mike says he can hear you as well.
Yeah, so I can't hear him though.
Let's do it this way. Let's ask the question that we've been asking the entire show.
You want to try the stream link instead?
No. This is fine. We can do this.
Okay.
So ask Jeff whether going after Kevin Durant instead of Giannis is going to be better for the Spurs because they get to keep Harper and they get to keep the war chest of picks.
He's saying if going after Kevin Durant is better, if the Spurs go after Kevin Durant, because if they were to go after Giannis, they would have to go ahead and give up too many assets in order to acquire him. They said maybe the better option would be to go after one Kevin Durant. That way they don't have to give up as many assets. It could be maybe a cheaper option in the long run for the San Antonio Spurs. And at looking at it, and you're looking at what Kevin Durant can do for this team, I think he's a better fit because he can open up the floor spacing a bit more because of his offensive prowess out there. I mean, what are your opinions, Jeff?
Man, you know what? I know Jimenez and I actually talked about this on Lockdown Spurs recently.
Yeah,
I lean toward Giannis, man. I think that gives you a little bit more longevity. And he's a little younger, 4 years younger than KD.
Yeah,
and I know KD putting up numbers, but not to say that Giannis isn't. And there's pros and cons. KD's a deep threat. Giannis isn't.
Yeah,
Giannis is a better defender in the paint. KD isn't. Giannis is actually a better player at the 5 spot. That helps Wemby play the 4 spot. The Spurs have a bunch of picks they're never going to use. They're stashed with them. Be aggressive with them. Use them. Flip them. If you're going to get a generational talent that is in the middle of his peak powers, in my opinion, you go with Giannis.
Gotcha. He's just saying, you heard him, Mike. He said he'd go with Giannis.
Yeah. Now ask him if the fact that Giannis.
Hey, how come I can't hear Jimenez?
I think it's because of the way the audio is. When Jimenez is in the studio here, we have everything pumped through the mixer, the audio mixer I have.
Oh, okay.
So it's the way that the audio channels are mixed together. And when Jimenez is joining us via the link that I send him, you can't hear him because he's not on the same audio channel as us.
Oh.
So that's why he can hear you, but you can't hear him because the way I have everything mixed up here, it's a mix minus, meaning you can hear us, but you can't hear yourself. So it's just the way things work. It gets very technical.
Oh my goodness,
Tony! I'd be lost by now. Trying to figure it out on my own.
Yeah,
Tony Ornella is going after.
But what are you meant to say?
Oh, Tony Ornella is coming after you right now. He says, "Boo! Jeff doesn't know ball. Sell the farm for a guy who might not even stay with the Spurs more than 2 years. Also, not a guaranteed championship."
Same thing with KD. It's not a guaranteed championship, and KD may not stay with the Spurs as well. He may want to dip afterwards. So it works both ways. No matter how you look at it, it works. It's just so many pros and cons. On both sides of the fence. I get Jimenez when even Jimenez talked about Giannis wanted to be the alpha of the team. I understand that, and I understand KD. He's already accepted a role as not the alpha. Just look at his time with Golden State.
Yeah.
So it's so close, man, for me. And I also get it if the Spurs don't want to trade for Giannis. I get that too. But yeah, I mean, geez. Either way, you're gonna have to pay a price tag, no matter what. If it's KD, Phoenix is gonna want a haul because they're gonna want, to get picks, young players. Same thing with the Milwaukee. They're going to want to have picks and they're going to want to have players. So for Ornelas to say, "Boo, Jeff doesn't know ball," I think that's just, the arguments can be made from both sides, KD or Giannis.
And look at Lejas.
I mean, Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, you see, like it's close, right? It's close.
I can see both players have their plus and their minuses. So if you go ahead and get a Giannis Antetokounmpo, right, and you add him to the San Antonio Spurs roster, you're going to get an inside presence in the paint. Like I said, another rim protector there to pair along Wemby. Now, there's
a lot of pros and cons, right, on both sides.
There's a lot of pros and cons, but the only other thing, if you bring in a Giannis type of player, then he's going to actually, let's say, be a detriment to, I think, the development of one Victor Wembanyama, because Giannis is going to have to go ahead and garner a lot of touches, more so than what Wemby is getting right now, in order for Giannis to go ahead and get his points. And the focus will be more on Giannis. And I think that would be detrimental to Wemby in the long run, because Wemby's going to get less touches and expect to do more with less. And I don't think that's really going to pan out for him in the long run. How happy he would be with that, I don't know. We don't know what the future will hold. But
winning cures all, though.
It does, and that's what I was going to say. Like, if they go ahead and bring Giannis, and then the Spurs wind up winning a chip with Giannis, of course, that would change the trajectory of how said players feel. But if that's not what's going to happen in years 1 or 2 with Giannis, where the Spurs are going far into the postseason, and you're seeing Wemby's decline of his game, and his points production as far as his stats go, that's what I'm saying. I think that could be detrimental to Wemby moving forward.
Yeah, and also, too, on different timelines, I get it, different points in their career, but Robinson couldn't do it by himself.
No,
he had to bring in, you had to get a Tim Duncan, a generational player, to pair with him, and they go on and win a couple titles together. Obviously, Wemby's just barely starting out. He's not at the point Robinson was when Duncan came in, but, there's a little bit of a blueprint right there. You need another star with you. And, I mean, look at the teams right now out there. You got, one mega star and then one bona fide star, SGA and Williams.
Yeah.
Who else you got out there?
I had presented this argument, and you would tell me what you think about it, Jeff. So we were talking about Giannis or Kevin Durant. The Spurs are projected to be aggressive going after either one of those and free agency per, Sham Shania of ESPN. But one of the things, the names that I brought up that's going to be out there in free agency as well is the Chicago Bulls center, Vucevic.
Mm-hmm.
He could be had for around $20 million. He could fill that center position, and his stat line isn't bad at all.
I like Brook Lopez as well. Yeah, here's a guy. He's a veteran, big. He's evolved his game. In his Brooklyn days, he was just a big boy in the paint and just would be a bruiser. Now he's evolved his game where he can still do that, but also hit the outside shot pretty regularly. So Brook Lopez is up there for me too. I mean, I'm looking at realistic guys. Realistically, you think Miles Turner is going to leave Indiana? No, probably not. You think Naz Reid will probably leave Minnesota? Probably not. But the gettable ones is a guy like Brook Lopez. And by the way, yes, I do agree with you, Leja. The I don't know ball is the weakest thing you can say in an argument. You can just slap that to anything. You slap that to anything. Oh, Joe, you picked Vucevic. You don't know ball. You can just slap it at anything. Oh, Jimenez, you brought up Giannis and X, Y, and Z. You don't know ball. See how easy it is?
Take the L.
Look at Hanover Fist's comment, Jeff. He's saying he'll take Vucevic over Lopez because he's younger.
Sure. I mean, look, that's great. It's win-win.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a legit backup for Wemby. That's all. That's it. If it's Vucevic, fine. If it's Lopez, fine. Let's rock and roll with one of those guys.
Hey, Joe, ask Jeff whether or not.
Man, I really wish I could hear Jimenez.
He's asking you a question right now. Hold on.
Yeah, so we'll relay it to him. But the Knicks are down 3-1. How bad are New York Knicks fans out there? Are they as bad as they're portrayed in the media, beating up on people? They haven't won a title since '73. Jeff lived in New York for 20 years. How bad are Knicks fans out there?
Mike is asking, how bad are Knicks fans down right now? Knowing that they are about to get.
I wish I was still in New York City right now. Just suffer with my adopted city right now. But no, they're down. But did you see that report? Did y'all talk about them with that Pacers fan that literally stabbed Knicks fans?
No,
over
deservedly so. Deservedly so. He's a Knicks fan.
Not even kidding here. It was a game. Pacer, Knicks fans were beefing, and one Pacer fan stabbed a couple of Knicks fans. Like, come on, people, it's just a game. We don't have to go there.
Yeah, it was self-defense, right? Tell Jeff it had to be self-defense.
He said, Mike says it was
no
self-defense.
Pacer fans going to attack.
He says no Pacers fans were going to attack, so it was self-defense.
Yeah, Knicks fans could be rowdy, man.
But you know what happened, Jeff? Ever since Knicks fans turned on that lowly Pacers fan after the game, and they were throwing stuff at him, bags of trash and whatnot, look at what happened to their team. They lose both games at the Garden,
Yeah.
And
hey, did you see that one where Knicks fans were throwing trash at Windhorse?
I saw that.
I'm not kidding. They were throwing stuff at him.
He's a bigger target, man. And did he get hurt?
Could take them all on because no. They just threw it was just like litter, like potato chip bags and like bags from McDonald's. They were just throwing it at him, and they were just calling him out because I think he was not a pro Knicks guy. So
look at this, Jeff.
It was hilarious though.
Mario Cavazos is saying getting Jakob Poeltl back. I mean, Jakob Poeltl has Spurs knowledge, but as far as us ever getting him back, I don't know that'll ever happen. But Vucevic can be had for about 20 mil. Probably get him for like a year rental just to see what he can do. And he pans out. Maybe you go ahead and let him walk, or you kind of see what you can do as restructuring the deal, But I don't think he's a bad bet. I think he's a good get, in free agency, seeing that a lot of the big names have already been taken, Jeff. That's just my opinion, though. But I was going to ask you a question because we're going to talk a little bit about nostalgia here, Jeff. So,
hey, real fast, I'm gonna answer Jason Garcia's question here.
Sure.
It says, what part of New York City did I not go past? Man, there were parts of the Bronx I stayed away from. There were parts of the Bronx I was like, nope, I ain't gonna stop here at this subway stop. Hell no.
You're not gonna get a sandwich from there?
No. There were some parts of the Bronx that was just like literally you would picture old school 80s, 70s New York, like all violent and crazy. It was those parts of the Bronx that I stayed away from. There are some parts of Brooklyn too, but mainly that Bronx section.
Joe.
It will get scary there. Let me see. Yeah, I see all these other kids talking.
Mike's going to ask you a question. What's up, Mike?
Well, Joe, I was wondering if you can look up Kevin Durant at the WNBA game last night, checking out with the players.
Yeah.
With Cameron Brink. So
he's looking at them legs.
What happened? What I missed?
Kevin Durant, he was
showing some dog in him.
What happened?
Cameron Brinks was meeting him before the game, and she came out and she was wearing an outfit. She looked cute, showing her legs. And Kevin
How
Durant,
tall is Cameron Brink?
He couldn't help but stop looking. He couldn't help but look at her, man. Let me show it on screen.
Like he was caught.
Yeah, he was caught, dude, in 4K.
Several times, but repeatedly.
In 4K, bro. Look, let's put it up here. Look at this, brother. Come on, man. Look at Kevin. He got caught in 4K.
Kept looking at her the entire time.
Look at him. Look at him.
Oh my God. He's like, damn, girl.
Them legs.
What them legs do? Cameron Brink is 6'4", but 6'9", and
what at all?
He's looking at them legs.
Ask Jeff if he'd be intimidated by a woman who's 6'4" wearing high heels.
Mike is asking, would you be intimidated by a woman that's 6'4" wearing high heels?
Not at all.
Not at all. As long as she's built for speed.
Not at all. Not at all. You gotta be crazy to say like yes you would. Would you, Joe?
6'4"? That's way too tall for me, man. That's way too tall for Mike or any of us, dude. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta get a ladder or something.
No, you just have fun. That's it.
Just have fun.
Get a ladder.
Just figure it out.
No, you just have fun. That's all. Go and have some fun.
But yeah, Kevin Durant got caught in 4K. But I was gonna ask you a question here. So as we go into a bit of nostalgia, man, I was saying because I saw a video here on the X. Oh man, let me get Jeff back. I accidentally cut him out. No, I know. I got to bring you back. All right. There we go. We got Jeff back. But I was saying I saw a video here on the X, and it was kind of talking about a little bit of nostalgia, going down memory lane. What was the move on a Friday night, or on a Friday evening once we got out of school, Jeff, and Mike, you probably remember this too. The move was we'd go to our neighborhood Blockbuster. We'd go to Hollywood Video, Pop and Go. That was the move back in the day. Even if you didn't have a VCR, you could get one. You could rent one either at Blockbuster Video or Pop and Go, for the weekend.
Remember you'd be able to rent Nintendo systems too?
Yeah, you could rent all that, man, and rent a video game to go along with it. And we're just talking about the Necio times that we were to be had when you would go to Pop and Go and you would go past the beaded curtain.
The beaded curtain.
Oh, that's right, the curtain. I forgot about that.
The beaded curtain. So what was the move for you back in the day, Jeff? Because I know for me, I would want to see a movie, but I was there for the video game. I was gonna go and rent something from my Nintendo, or at the time from the Nintendo going to the SNES. But it was Nintendo or bust. We'd go in there and get a video game. I mean, you probably were the same, right?
Yeah. I remember when it came to movies, though, I always had bad luck. Like the one movie you want, and they're all sold out,
always gone,
or they're all rented out, and then you would look the return bin, to see if maybe somebody returned it, they hadn't checked it in yet.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you like an approximate date when they're supposed to get it back, but they never get here. But man, I can still, in my mind's eye and like my body, I can still feel what it was like during peak Blockbuster days.
Yeah.
Being inside, looking through the empty, remember the empty cardboard boxes?
Yeah.
And then the video, like how many copies are left, and all the video things, the videotapes behind.
Going to the returns, waiting over there by the returns to see what's coming.
Yeah. I can still feel going to the Blockbuster Video that was on South Park Mall's parking lot.
Yeah.
And returning them in the little after-hours slot. It was fun times. But yeah, I would rent video games. I remember I rented the gold edition Zelda. No. Was it the gold? Remember the one that had the gold?
Yeah, the original Zelda. The original Zelda.
Yeah, I can still remember renting that one. I know what else I remember? Renting I don't know, remember this game called, it was called Renegades. It was pretty much a what was that alien game?
Contra.
Oh my god, it was a Contra. It was like a Contra ripoff.
Yeah.
But instead of side to side, you would see them above, like a third person view as they're going up. Like it was instead of a left right scroller, it was up and down scroller.
Gotcha. But
Joe, do you remember how easy it was to put together and take apart the Nintendo games? I had friends who would go over. I had friends who would go over and they would unscrew the Nintendo cartridges of their old games that they didn't want, take the motherboard out of one, steal the one from Blockbuster, and steal a game. Like they'd want the new game, right? They'd get it, they'd rent it, they'd take out the motherboard, and then they return the motherboard of like Pac-Man.
Yeah. So Mike is saying, remember back in the day, Jeff, when he was saying that it was easy for his friends back in the day to go ahead and take apart the Nintendo cartridges, right? Unscrew them. And what his friends would do is that they would go and rent a video game from Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, wherever. And they would unscrew the cartridge and get their old game that they didn't want anymore and replace it with the game that they just rented that they did want, and then return it back.
Brilliant move.
Yeah, brilliant, dude. So I know you can't hear us right now. So did you want me to go ahead and just send you the link via the X so you can hear Mike?
Like, what do you mean? Like you get off the phone call right now?
Yeah, get off the phone call and I'll just send you the link via X and you can just join with the audio there so you can hear Mike.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Okay.
Joe, there was nothing worse than he mentioned going to the bin, right? Remember the fear of getting a late fee? Because the late fee was expensive. It was like $30, dude. I mean, think about that. The late fee at Blockbuster, I believe, was $30. That was at $1995. That's like $60 now, right? So there'd be that race to get to the bin. You have to get there by noon, right? And you'd be at home, be 11:55. You'd just be waking up, and you're racing down. Like for me, it'd be racing down. Garcia's by it though in the Pacific Northwest there in outside of Portland, Oregon. There's one last Blockbuster Video.
No, it was over. There was one that they had in Alaska or near Alaska, and that one shut down. So I think they all finally had shut down. officially, because they still had one lonely one open, but that one is come to an end. And we have a video right here as we're waiting for Jeff to go ahead and join us. There we go. There you go, Jeff. You're here.
My man.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, brother.
Moneybags. What's
now
going on?
Now I can hear y'all.
There you go. We're on the same audio channel now. That's why.
Man, I was getting confused.
Yeah, no, I got it. I tried to use the new system to see if we could bring you on with the because we have audio capabilities as far as being able to accept phone calls now with just this new system. But unfortunately, you can't hear the audio, so we'll just go this route. But we're just talking about nostalgia.
So it's not working anymore? Like
no, it is. It is. It would just have to go ahead and fix out the audio channel so we can go ahead and hear. You can hear us and you can hear Mike when he's talking with you.
Why is my photo there under Jeff Garcia?
Oh God.
That's like 3 years ago too.
So we're just talking about a bit of nostalgia. What was your best memory of a movie that you rented, Mike? Because I know you wouldn't play video games too much. You didn't play with action figures, and you would watch a lot of film, right, or movies. You know, you would say,
when I was in high school, I started watching a lot of.
You watched movies. So when you would go to Blockbuster, what was your go-to? What did you want to go and look for that interest you? Was it sports related or what was it?
No, man. I remember going to Blockbuster and seeing Silence of the Lambs. I remember getting that movie, and I saw Silence of the Lambs the other day for the first time in a while. Still a great movie, dude. The Quentin Tarantino movies were really good.
Yeah.
Fools Rush In with Salma Hayek was pretty good. So I remember those movies. The middle aisles were the ones that were like hit and miss, right? You'd have like Turner and Hooch. You'd have like these crappy movies in the middle aisles, but every once in a while you'd find a gem. And I remember that gem being like Office Space, or finding like a movie that no one had seen before, and it'd be so cool to be the first one to tell your friends all about it.
Look at Hanover Fist says bad horror movies was his sheet. In other words, the B-rated movies, you know. So yeah, we saw a lot of those as well. There was one, man. What was it called, Jeff? Oh God, I forgot the name of it. It was about a high school student. I think it was Angel or something like that. So it was about a high school student who was a high school student by day, but escort by night. And then she was killing people. I'm just like, what the hell?
Oh, I think I remember that one. Yeah. Didn't they have like multiple versions of it? Like,
yes, they had like
part
one, part two, or something like that. I think
yeah, and then like the cover, she was like wearing like a little short skirt, schoolgirl outfit, something like that.
Yeah, man. It's like these movies that they had back in the day were freaking wild, dude.
No, they were. I know any movie from the Canon studio was always fun. Canon, remember? I think that was RoboCop, so they had that kind of quirky ones there. Yeah, it was good times, man. I can still hear the sound of a VHS tape going inside a
Terminator. Remember Terminator, Jeff? That's probably one that we got on VHS.
Yep.
Hey, Jeff.
Yep.
Over the Top. I remember watching it as a kid. Like, I watched it when it first came out. I have no idea what that movie's about. Like, I forgot. I remember the cap being turned forward to back.
Yeah.
And there was something involving arm wrestling.
Yep.
But I don't remember anything else with that movie. There was a little kid in there. I don't know if Stallone was his dad.
The fun parts were the interviews with the arm wrestlers. I remember the one arm wrestler, Joe, that would drink oil.
Oh yeah.
He literally drink a can of oil before
oil.
he would arm wrestle. There was that, and then there was the main guy. What was the main guy? The main villain guy. Oh, Bull Hurley. That's it. Bull Hurley was in it. He was also in the second Batman with Michael Keaton. He was the one that Michael Keaton punched and put the stick of dynamite in his pants. That's Bull Hurley. So yeah, good times. But no, I miss Blockbuster. Isn't there like one left in the nation?
Yeah, Jason.
Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon. Yeah. So I was going to show you this too, Jeff, as we're talking nostalgia. And it says, and the award for the best 80s villain goes to, and they have Megatron, Shredder, Cobra Commander, Skeletor, Mumra, and the villain from was it the Dungeons and Dragons, and the rest are the Claw from what was it? Inspector Gadget, Gargamel, and I don't know the other one with that frog thing. I don't remember what.
Oh, that's from Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse. Okay, there you go.
That's Danger Mouse. I forgot his name.
Joe, Jeff, I know nothing about all 9 of these.
I mean, come on. You got to at least have an idea, Jimenez. Just an idea.
Well, okay, middle left, I see that in memes. Have no idea what it's from.
Middle left?
He's talking about Skeletor.
Middle left?
Skeletor. He's talking about Skeletor. From He-Man, dude. That's He-Man.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the list right here. So I'm going to discount Cobra Commander because he always was retreating. Telling everybody to retreat. So he's out. I'm going to kick out Skeletor because he just surrounded himself with idiots. Didn't bring in anybody else to help him out. So I'm going to take those 2 out. Gargamel. Maybe Gargamel.
God, these names.
I'm going to kick out the frog because I don't remember him doing crap.
Yeah, and the Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Claw didn't do that. So now I'm down to Mumra, Dungeons and Dragon Dude, Shredder, and Megatron. So here we go. Let's kick out.
Let's just have the 4. The final 4 would be Megatron, Shredder, Mumra,
Dungeons and Dragons.
What is all this crap?
It's stuff from the
right there. 80s villains, right there.
Villains from the cartoons, bro.
Right, no, Johnny Lawrence was the 80s villain. That's it.
We're
That's all you need to know.
About cartoons, man.
I don't recognize any of these cartoons.
All right, well, work on some emails then and do some work while me and Jeff do that.
Mike didn't play with any action figures. He said they were dolls. He called them dolls.
Yeah, I didn't play with dolls. Rafa comes out and says Gargamel was a pedo. Is that true? Which was Gargamel?
The balding guy at the
magician.
Bottom. Oh, okay. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Look, we got an incoming $4.99 super chat.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
So Mario Cavasso says Mike was emulating Buffalo Bill, putting the tennis racket between his legs at the ATM.
No, I turned around when he pulled out the knife. I looked at, if I was going to do Buffalo Bill, I'd look at him and go, I'd fuck me.
Joe, capture that on video right now.
I know, man. That's Mike, why, bro?
Get that on video.
Why,
Get
bro?
it on video now.
It's already he's already given them gold. That's gonna be on.
All right.
You already know.
Here's my first hot take in this fight. I'm actually gonna kick out Shredder. Yeah, I think I'm gonna kick out Shredder.
Which one's Shredder?
The guy with the pointing the finger down. The first top row, middle guy with the mask.
All time. So I think it's between Megatron and Mumra.
Yeah. Well, the Dungeons and Dragon dude, I remember him being kind of up there too.
Yeah, he was a magician.
Man.
But I'd have to cast him off because Mumra had more nastiness in him than that other brother. So it's Mumra and Megatron.
Mumra was no joke.
Yeah, but I'd have
Mumra had the whole freaking Thundercats. Shook.
Yeah.
And even didn't Jaga also kind of fear him too? Jaga feared him.
But you know what? Megatron said is TF-84 was gangster. Transformers 84 was gangsters. No lies detected. And they were saying Destro was one of the best
was that from Tony Ornelas? No, Tony Ornelas, he doesn't know cartoons.
So this is coming from Rudy G. But we're looking at Destro. Destro was one of the best villains. He got to bang Baroness.
Listen, he won it right there, man. He won the contest. If
Mike didn't like cartoons, once he saw the Baroness, I think he would change his tune.
I'm googling that I'm googling that right now.
Yeah. Let's Megatron. I liked how he, as much as pissed me off that he kept Starscream around, but a part of just torturing Starscream. The mental game that he gave Scream, I thought that was kind of cool. That was pretty diabolical.
Starscream had some gangster in him too. I remember when he kicked Megatron out of the little space shuttle. Remember?
As much as we make fun of Starscream, you go back, he could throw.
Yeah,
he could fight. I mean, he would be whiny in the fight, but he was a smart fighter.
Yeah, he had some hands. He's a gangster in him, dude.
Yeah, he had some hands on him.
If we're talking about fighting, can I ask one quick question for you guys?
What's up?
Right.
We go back in time. The three of us go into a time machine. We go back in time. We go to the arcade.
All right.
We put quarters in Mortal Kombat. Who's your character?
Scorpion. It depends on which Mortal Kombat, because I think it was three. I think it was three. I was choosing or two. I was choosing Reptile. He was the guy that was the lizard that would spit acid. Yeah.
I think I would do. I remember I was down to Kano or
Alex is saying Sonya.
Sonya. Oh God.
Melina Kitana wins.
Mike could not go play Mortal Kombat with me when I would go to my grandma's house. It was too ethnic for you, and it was too hood for you, man. My grandma lived off of a street called Veracruz, and it's over there by the courts, man. And there was a basketball court right across the street from where she lived, and right around the corner there used to be this little gas station. So me and my cousins would walk over there in the hood and go and play Mortal Kombat at the little gas station there. And one time we went to go play, and guys were playing basketball there in the front of that court. We go to play Mortal Kombat, and we come back, and there's cops and everything in the front. My grandma's telling us to hurry up and get inside. He said there was a shooting there, and somebody died.
Really?
Right when we left. By the time we left, when we came back, somebody died there on the court, man.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Good times, man. Good times.
Hey, you ever see the documentary of making the Mortal Kombat video game? It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it was actually video that they shot of him, man, and everything. Yeah, but we got to get off the subject because Michael's already getting glassed over, Jeff. So
hey, he brought up the Mortal Kombat topic, not us.
He brought it up, but you know what? Mike never went to the South Side to go to Century South to play the arcade back in the day.
You know what? I went to the West Side. I
would
Las
hate?
Palmas all the time.
When my mom would drag me to the laundromat to do to wash and dry, and you have to just sit there and wait. But then there's video games, and you get like a roll of quarters from your mom, and I was like, okay, and then it's all good now. Get some snacks out of the vending machine, and it was either Galaga, Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, Tron. Tron was always at every freaking laundromat in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Hey Jeff, there's a place.
I can't get over that picture of Jimenez on my profile right now.
Jeff, there's two places over here that if you come by and visit that are in the Woodlands are pretty interesting. One is it's a BYOB place, but for $15 you get to play video games as long as you want. It's an all day pass. $15. It's all the 80s and 90s video games. For $15 you get to bring your own alcohol. The second place they have over here that I came across the other day, Chica and I went to the movies, and we went to a movie theater that we don't normally go to out here.
Yeah.
And there's this business park area in the shopping center. And we're like, well, what the hell's over there? They have two of the businesses there are those escape rooms.
But
there's a third one that's there that is a game show room.
Ooh,
so you bring 6 friends to go 3-on-3 or 10 friends to go 5-on-5. And you do Wheel of Fortune, you do Plinko, you do all these games from the actual video games, actual game shows. It's a game show setting. It's pretty interesting. Jason Garcia saying Centipede.
I remember that.
Centipede. Yep. Centipede was a popular one too.
Remember that one? And Millipede.
Millipede
one too. You know which one I can never figure out? Remember Laxon? What was like kind of side.
What was the name of that other one that used to come out and it would talk and it would say Ristar? Remember, wasn't it Ristar? Where it was a little shooter and you would have that face that would come out.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Remember Rystar, the guy with the shield?
Rystar, yeah, that's the one.
Rystar,
and then you had Time Pilot. Remember Time Pilot?
Time Pilot, yeah. Remember
Did y'all all play Paint the Lady?
The hell?
The hell?
Oh my god. I'm gonna look it up right now. Paint the Lady was this thing where.
What's wrong with you, Jimenez?
Okay, it's Painted Lady or Paint the Lady video game. Painted Lady video game is what it was called, and basically it's kind of like mowing the grass, where you like have to like fill out the entire thing, the entire screen before you get killed. But
No,
if
I
you
don't
did,
remember it.
behind it was a girl in a bikini. Like it was like an image of a woman in a bikini. If you can fill out the entire screen,
Really?
it was at Rocky J's and Diversions back in the day.
Nah,
Painted
that one-
Lady is what it was
Yeah, you
called.
got me on that one. One of my other go-to was Defender. I'd always go to Defender. That a
Defender was
fun-
good.
Yeah, Defender was fun. Yeah, and then man, Painted Lady. I'm really trying to jog my memory here.
Oh, Crystal Castles was cool too. Remember
Crystal
that one?
Castle was fun, dude.
There's that little teddy bear, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
a
that little teddy bear. And the other one that I used to play at the we used to go to this Mexican restaurant that was right off of Military Drive, right when you get over the overpass passing Kelly, and it was called Mr. Dew's Castle or something like that. I used to play the shit out of that game over there. It's kind of like Crystal Castles, but it was called Mr. Dew's Castle.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Joe and Jeff. Since I was what would you consider me Northwest Side or West Side, Joe? Holmes High School.
North Side.
North Side back in the day. Malibu Castle. I cried when Malibu Castle got destroyed, right?
Yeah,
When
I remember a lot of times visiting there.
what was so did the Southsiders go to Malibu Castle a lot?
I went.
What's that other one that we went to, Jeff? Remember the other one that was off of General McMullen, Funland or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. With the batting cages and all that stuff there.
Batting cage. They had golf carts there too.
Putt, yeah.
The little mini carts, and they also had putt, and they had an arcade there as well. You can still see the ruins of it. I think it was still up there at one point.
Yeah, are the ruins of Malibu still there?
They're still there.
Yeah, which is weird. They never did anything with it. It's a graveyard.
You can see the go-kart track still. It's the outline of it still there.
With the grass growing all around it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad scene, man. When I drive by that spot, I'm like, man, just could have just left it open, man. Just leave it
Pear
open.
County Apple Fair. That's where Mike
Hey,
went.
you remember Cool Crest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Cool Crest a few times.
Man, I worked at Pear County Fair for 3 summers, dude. It's good times, man.
Yeah, so was our
That was shut down too, right? Pear Apple.
Yeah, it became a church. Very, very, very sad.
What I drove by the other day, Fiesta, Texas. It's gotten a lot bigger.
Oh yeah, dude. Fiesta Texas is it's expanded, man. But pretty much the rides are almost all there, except for a few that they've replaced with newer ones. I'm sure Mike is going to wind up going here at some time with his daughter.
Yeah, Chica and I were talking about the other day about going to Six Flags back in the day in Astroworld.
Oh yeah, and
remember getting hurt? Did you ever get hurt on the Texas Giant or the Rat?
Oh yeah,
that was the one in Dallas.
Wooden ass roller coaster. Yeah,
dude, everyone got hurt. Huh? That could never exist now, man. I remember going with my friend Brian Boucher to Dallas to go to Six Flags, and on the way back home, I got whiplash, right? And I was just like off to one side. I couldn't move my head all the way around. I was like that for 2 or 3 days. That would be a lawsuit today. Back then, it was just like rub some dirt on it.
Let me tell you a story. So when Fiesta Texas just opened, I was still a baby, just 1 year old. Our graduating class had our senior day, where we would go out and just have fun. And we went to Fiesta Texas. And I remember going on the original, like the way it was, the Rattler, its original form. And it was raining that day. So the speed that it was going, when we would get out, it looked like somebody hit us with a bunch of BBs or a BB gun. Jeez. We had like red dots all over us because the speed and the raindrops were pelting us so much. And we would just get back on. And I remember people's backs hurting and necks being crushed in. It was fun times.
Good times, man.
All these little kids nowadays would be crying right now, right? We can't get on. It's too violent.
I think the best, one of the best stores that I can remember, Jeff, from back in the day over at South Park Mall, TG&Y. Remember that one near the Mervyn's, near the food court?
Hey, that was kind of like Dollar General, right?
Yeah, Dollar General. I remember the wins they used to have on the south side of town. They had 2 of them. They had the one that was off of Military, and you take that one street off to the right. I don't remember the name of it. But then you had the other one that was right there in front of like Harlandale High School, which is the one I used to frequent way back then. It used to be next to a a grocery store. I think it was called Super S Foods. That's what it used to be. And
Hey,
Solo there.
Solo Serve was was before Ross, right?
Yeah, it was.
Joe, Jeff, I never went to Solo Serve once in my life. I never
missed out,
stepped
man.
foot.
Man, you missed out.
You
What was
missed out.
Bell's? Was Bell's TJ Maxx?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sure.
It was kind of like a small J.C. Penney or like what do you call it? Foley's or something like
What
that.
Irvin's.
Marvin's. My mom used to call it Marvin's. She could never say it right, dude. I don't know why. But Mervin's was legit, dude. We go in there and have some
Mervin's
fun,
was
man.
legit.
Did you ever do best products where it was like a showroom?
Yeah.
And you wrote down the serial number of what you wanted. It came down a conveyor belt. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yep. And what else? You remember when Toys R Us started getting into the video games?
Oh
And,
yeah,
like,
the one on the
selection-
south side.
Yeah, you have to get like a ticket. And you take it to the customer service. I remember that. I remember that thick plastic, shield they had over the cartridges, like
The pocket.
the pocket and all that fun stuff. And I remember, and you remember the sign, the one on the south side, the big old Toys R Us sign,
Toys R Us sign.
that you can see from the highway.
Yep, I remember that.
Yep.
I remember there was a toy that I wanted to get when I was getting video games.
Yeah.
Because I used to like this show called Exo Squad. So Exo Squad did a crossover with what was it called? Robotech, right? So they were gonna kind of bring in marry the two together. And they did a short-lived run where they had the Exo Squad action figure, the toy inside the same box with the Robotech action figure. And man, I didn't have the money at the time. I wanted to buy it, but I chose to get a video game instead. I should have brought the damn toy because now that toy is rare and it sells for some big money, dude. Big time money.
Yeah, when the Toys R Us on Military was still open, I have vivid memory. I have just great memories of it. You know how massive it was and how you enter, and the first thing you would see was kind of like the gift department where like bags and like just gift bags were there. But to this day, I regret not getting a couple things. One, some Secret War figures that were on sale. I still remember seeing them. So you had like, Wolverine and Spider-Man in a bin.
Yeah.
And then also remember the first time ever that when Star Wars was still with Kenner, they brought back the retro figures from the 70s.
Yeah,
and
Mike,
they were discounted, and I never picked those up. And they were there.
Mike's glassed over again. But you know what? Remember the Sears popcorn, Mike and Jeff?
Yeah.
You could smell it when you go into Sears back in the day.
Salty as F when you got it too. But let me ask you the one last question before I have to let you guys go. The year is 1994, 95, 96. You're getting ready to go to the club. You're going ready to go to the bar, whatever the case may be. What cologne are you spritzing?
Oh, you know what I'm putting on? DK, man.
Dracar?
Dracar Noir.
You know which one I'm putting on? The one I still have to this day. Polo Sport.
You still wear Polo Sport, dude?
No, I bought it a while back, because I saw it on Amazon or something. I was like, it's a little bit of nostalgia. I'll put it on once in a while.
Oh man,
they don't make it anymore.
I used to bathe in DK, man. I mean, I had DK cologne,
Dracar Noir,
everything.
They
still sell it. You can still buy it,
but they sell it at Walgreens. That's the problem. It's
Walgreens,
Cool Water.
You see them at Ross. Ross carries them.
No,
just carries a few bottles. They carry a bunch of DK.
Do you want it in the gallon size, sir?
And I would have said yes. Yes, I want.
Look, Tony Ornelas has a legit question for us. He's saying, Mike, Joe, and Jeff, what was your first job in San Antonio? Mike, what was your first job in San Antonio?
McDonald's on Ingram Road, right by Callahan.
Really? Jeff, what was your first job in San Antonio?
Working at Century South Theaters on Military.
Okay. You know what my first job was in San Antonio? I'll feel bad now. I never worked in fast food. My first job in San Antonio was working on Kelly Air Force Base during the summertime, and they were kind of teaching me about information technology because I was really gifted when it came to information technology, meaning technology, computers, that kind of stuff. So that was my first job. I think I was like 15 or 16 at the time. They came to my school and they were asking if we wanted to work, on base, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So they made us take a test, and all the smart kids went to Kelly, and all the other kids went to Lackland.
Hey, how come Kelly shut down?
It was
Cold
just
War was
base
over.
closures.
The
Yeah,
Cold War was over.
they're trying
For
to
real? Are
downsize.
you
They're
messing
trying
around
to
with us? Or are you being
downsize.
serious?
No.
Uh,
I mean, it
yeah,
was being serious.
Yeah, Soviet disbanded. There was not as much of a need for certain things military wise, so they came and shut down bases all over the country.
Yeah, man. They
Did not know
shut it
that.
down because they were downsizing. They didn't need as many Air Force bases as far as the infrastructure came about anymore.
So
So
who's
that's
out there
why.
right now? Because I still see planes coming in and out.
That's
Boeing.
gonna Boeing, and it's
Boeing,
gonna be
okay.
it's like city base now. It's so they do have private contractors that have now let's say leased those hangars out.
Mhm.
Boeing's one of them, and they have several others on there
Yeah,
as well.
Lockheed Martin's also out there.
They do maintenance on aircraft, but that's it. It's not the same anymore.
Very good.
Man.
Hey, fellas, I gotta let you guys go. Chica
Yeah.
just walked in the door. She's sick with a fever, so
All right, man.
the
Well,
only prescription
uh-oh.
is me.
Don't say it. All right.
Oh God!
I thought
And,
Jimenez.
I'll put on my eternity for men. See
I
what
thought
happens.
Jimenez, you were gonna say she needs some vitamin D.
God, no. It says 10 over fist was saying, "Damn, Joe, what happened? What happened, Joe?" And I was like, "I'm still good at all that stuff. That's why I'm working for the Department of Homeland Security now." So,
By the way, man, Joe, man, you and I are scheduled just whack lately, man. We're trying to get you on Los.
dude, I've been so
Just
busy
can't
with
get you
work.
on, man.
I've been
at
so
all.
busy with work. It's been insane, man. It's been insane. But I mean, it is what it is at this point. But I'm still
I
doing
know,
the show here with
you
Mike.
gotta get your cash. I get that.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and bring the show to an end because Mike has to get back to Chica over here. But thank you.
Tony says if Mike gets sick, you know what happened.
Oh no.
No, I don't know what happened. Tell us in detail, Jimenez. What happened?
We have the soundbite, the glorious soundbite that he's blessed you with today, Jeff.
Man, hopefully you pull that out, man.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right, Jeff. We're gonna go
All
ahead and let you go, man. But
All
thank
right,
you so
later,
much.
guys. Yep.
Laters. All right.
Later
All
on,
right,
fellas.
Mike.
We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Area 210 Podcast. Everyone stay warm, stay out of the rain. We'll be back tomorrow.